Welcome to War Bios, the podcast where we delve into the lives of history's most fascinating military minds. Today, we're going to explore the life and legacy of Count Alfred von Schlieffen, a name that has become synonymous with strategic brilliance and innovative thinking on the battlefield. As a mastermind of modern warfare, Schlieffen's influence extends far beyond his native Germany, shaping the course of military history in ways that still resonate today. Born on February 28, 1833 in Berlin, Prussia, Count Alfred von Schlieffen was the scion of an aristocratic family with a long tradition of military service. His father, Count Alfred Friedrich von Schlieffen, was a cavalry officer who had fought in the Napoleonic Wars, and his mother, Countess Auguste von Schomberg, came from a family of distinguished bureaucrats. From a young age, Alfred was steeped in the values of duty, honor, and loyalty that defined the Prussian nobility. The family's estate, nestled in the rolling hills of Brandenburg, was a place where tradition and discipline were woven into the fabric of everyday life. Growing up in Berlin during the mid-19th century, Schlieffen was surrounded by the trappings of a rapidly modernizing city. The Industrial Revolution was transforming the urban landscape, and the sounds of hammering and drilling from the nearby factories mingled with the clip-clop of horse-drawn carriages on the cobblestone streets. As a child, Alfred would often accompany his father on rides through the city, watching as the old medieval walls were torn down to make way for new boulevards and public buildings. The smell of coal smoke and freshly baked bread wafted through the air, mingling with the sounds of hawkers calling out their wares and the chatter of pedestrians. The Schlieffen family's social standing and military heritage ensured that young Alfred received an excellent education, with a focus on classical languages, history, and philosophy. He attended the prestigious Friedrich Wilhelms Gymnasium in Berlin, where he excelled in his studies, particularly in mathematics and geography. These early academic pursuits would later serve him well in his military career, as he developed a keen eye for terrain and a deep understanding of the interconnectedness of battlefields. His teachers, many of whom were veterans of the Napoleonic Wars, regaled him with stories of battles fought and won, instilling in him a sense of pride and purpose. During his teenage years, Schlieffen was heavily influenced by the writings of Karl von Clausewitz, the renowned Prussian strategist who had fought against Napoleon. Clausewitz's magnum opus, On War, would become a constant companion to Schlieffen throughout his life, shaping his thoughts on the nature of conflict and the importance of adaptability on the battlefield. As he delved deeper into Clausewitz's ideas, Schlieffen began to develop his own distinctive approach to strategy, one that emphasized the need for speed, surprise, and decisive action. He spent hours poring over maps, studying the campaigns of great generals like Napoleon and Frederick the Great, and analyzing the strengths and weaknesses of different military formations. In 1853, at the age of 20, Schlieffen entered the Prussian Army as a lieutenant in the 1st Guards Regiment. This marked the beginning of a long and distinguished military career, during which he would rise through the ranks, attending the prestigious Kriegsakademie, War Academy, in Berlin, and serving on the general staff. However, it was his early years, spent studying and learning from the great military thinkers of the past, that laid the foundation for his future successes and failures. The experiences and influences of his childhood and adolescence had instilled in him a deep respect for tradition, a strong sense of duty, and an unquenchable thirst for knowledge, all qualities that would serve him well as he navigated the complexities of military life. As Schlieffen began his journey as a young officer, he was surrounded by the excitement and uncertainty of a rapidly changing world. The Crimean War had just broken out, and the Prussian army was undergoing significant reforms, driven by the visionary leadership of King Frederick William IV. It was an exhilarating time to be entering the military, with new technologies, tactics, and strategies being developed and tested on the battlefields of Europe. And yet, despite the many challenges and opportunities that lay ahead, Schlieffen remained focused on his studies, poring over maps, reading about famous battles, and learning from the experiences of other officers. His was a mind always hungry for knowledge, always seeking to improve and adapt, and it was this intellectual curiosity that would ultimately set him apart as one of the greatest military thinkers of his generation. As Schlieffen continued his ascent through the ranks, he became increasingly enthralled by the world of military strategy and planning, like a master craftsman honing his skills in the pursuit of perfection. In 1866, at the age of 33, he was appointed to the Prussian General Staff, where he would play a pivotal role in shaping the army's doctrine and tactics, much like a skilled architect designing the blueprints for a grand edifice. This marked the beginning of a period of intense intellectual curiosity and productivity for Schlieffen, as he delved deeper into the study of military history, geography, and logistics, devouring the works of great strategists like Clausewitz and Napoleon. One of the most significant events of this period was the Franco-Prussian War, which broke out in 1870 like a tempest on the European landscape. Schlieffen, then a major on the General Staff, played a crucial role in planning the Prussian Army's campaign against France, his mind racing with the possibilities and challenges of modern warfare. He was instrumental in developing the Army's operational plans, including the decisive Battle of Sedan, where the French Emperor Napoleon III was captured, marking a turning point in the war and cementing Schlieffen's reputation as a brilliant military strategist. As he navigated the complexities of war, Schlieffen's thoughts turned to the concept of encirclement, which he believed held the key to decisive victory on the battlefield. He envisioned the Prussian army as a finely tuned machine, its components working in harmony to outmaneuver and overwhelm the enemy. This idea would become a central theme in his later writings and would influence generations of military thinkers who would study his works like a sacred text. In 1871, Schlieffen was promoted to lieutenant colonel and appointed as the chief of the General Staff's operations section, where he oversaw the development of the Army's operational plans and played a key part in shaping the Prussian Army's doctrine. He was particularly drawn to the study of Frederick the Great's campaigns, which he believed offered valuable insights into the art of war, like a master painter studying the works of his predecessors. The battles of Leuthen and Rossbach were especially significant to Schlieffen, as they demonstrated the power of speed, maneuver, and decisive action on the battlefield. As Schlieffen's reputation grew, so did his influence within the military establishment. He became known for his incisive mind and his ability to think critically about complex military problems, earning the respect of his contemporaries, including the renowned strategist Helmuth von Moltke. His counsel was sought by senior officers, who valued his insight and expertise, and he became a trusted advisor to the Prussian High Command. In 1884, Schlieffen was appointed as the Quartermaster General of the Prussian Army, a position that gave him responsibility for planning and logistics, where he could apply his vast knowledge of geography and military history to develop innovative solutions to the Army's operational challenges. He threw himself into this work with characteristic energy, using his mastery of cartography and terrain analysis to identify the most advantageous routes and positions for the Prussian army. During this period, Schlieffen also began to write extensively on military strategy, producing a series of influential essays and articles that would later be collected and published as Cannae. His writings were marked by their clarity, insight, and intellectual rigor, making them accessible to a wide audience of military professionals and scholars. As he wrote, "The art of war is not an art of genius, but an art of skill. It requires a deep understanding of the principles of war and the ability to apply them in a practical way." This emphasis on practicality and attention to detail would become a hallmark of Schlieffen's approach to military strategy. Throughout the 1880s and 1890s, Schlieffen continued to rise through the ranks, eventually becoming the chief of the General Staff in 1891. In this position, he oversaw the development of the Prussian Army's doctrine and played a key role in shaping the country's military policy, his influence extending far beyond the borders of Prussia. His writings were studied by military thinkers around the world, and his ideas about encirclement and decisive victory began to shape the way that armies thought about war. As the years passed, Schlieffen's legacy continued to grow, like a mighty oak tree spreading its branches across the landscape of modern warfare. He remained humble and dedicated to his craft, always seeking new ways to improve the Prussian army's performance on the battlefield. His commitment to the art of war was unwavering, and his contributions to the field would be felt for generations to come, as military thinkers and strategists around the world grappled with the challenges of modern warfare. As Count Alfred von Schlieffen entered the twilight of his life, the weight of his years seemed to only intensify his dedication to the pursuit of military excellence. The faint scent of old leather and parchment wafted through his study, where the soft glow of lamplight danced across the lines of his face, etching a topography of wisdom and experience. Despite the advancing age that had begun to slow his steps, Schlieffen remained an imposing figure in the Prussian military establishment, his counsel still eagerly sought by senior officers and politicians who recognized the value of his unparalleled expertise. This appointment was not merely a nod to his past achievements, but a reflection of the German military's recognition of the need for innovative strategic thinking in the face of rising threats from neighboring powers. As Schlieffen delved deeper into the complexities of modern warfare, he became increasingly obsessed with the concept of encirclement and decisive victory, which would become the hallmark of his military philosophy. The Battle of Cannae, where Hannibal had encircled and annihilated a Roman army, was a particular fascination for Schlieffen. He saw in this ancient conflict a timeless lesson about the importance of maneuver and strategic surprise on the battlefield. His seminal work, Cannae, written during this period, remains a foundational text in the study of military strategy, offering insights that are both timely and timeless. In 1913, he was promoted to the rank of Generaloberst, a fitting tribute to a career marked by brilliance, innovation, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. Despite his failing health, Schlieffen remained committed to his work, continuing to write and advise until his death on January 4, 1913, surrounded by the maps, books, and memories of a lifetime dedicated to the study and practice of war. Schlieffen's legacy is a complex and multifaceted one, reflecting both the brilliance of his military ideas and the tumultuous era in which he lived. As the German military historian Hans Delbrück once observed, Schlieffen's greatest contribution was not his specific plans or strategies, but rather his ability to think critically about the nature of war itself. This capacity for critical thinking, combined with his deep understanding of history and geography, has made Schlieffen's work enduringly relevant, influencing generations of military thinkers and strategists around the world. Today, Count Alfred von Schlieffen is remembered as one of the most important military minds of the modern era, a man whose ideas about encirclement and decisive victory continue to shape the way that armies think about war. His legacy extends far beyond the borders of Germany, with his writings and ideas influencing military strategy in countries as diverse as the United States, China, and Russia. From his early days as a young officer in the Prussian Army to his later years as a renowned military strategist, Schlieffen remained committed to the pursuit of excellence and the advancement of knowledge. His story serves as a powerful reminder that the art of war is not just about winning battles or conquering territory, but about understanding the deeper currents of human history and the complexities of the human experience. In considering Schlieffen's legacy, it is also important to acknowledge the broader historical context in which he lived and worked. The late 19th and early 20th centuries were a time of great upheaval and transformation in Europe, marked by the rise of nationalism, imperialism, and the complex system of alliances that would eventually lead to the outbreak of World War I. Schlieffen's work must be understood within this context, as a response to the challenges and opportunities presented by these tumultuous times. His ideas about encirclement and decisive victory remain relevant today, not just as a means of winning battles, but as a way of understanding the deeper dynamics of conflict and the nature of war itself. That's all for today's War Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'm General Biography reminding you to keep marching toward victory.